This episode is sponsored in part by PTZ Optics. Why hire a camera operator when the control is in your hands? Visit ptzoptics.com for more information. And by NewTek, makers of the TriCaster TC1. Stun your viewers, not your accountant. Visit newtek.com for more information.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of No Boundaries Outdoors, Stories from the Cabin. We are going to be talking today about saddle hunting, and as always, we've got Braedon Pennington. Welcome.
How we doing, y'all?
And making his return, back from baby duty.
Baby duty's done.
Baby duty is done.
Well, for now.
Yeah, for now. Jake Oxenford. We thought maybe you were just bailing on us to go feed the goats or build the room or...
Yeah, well, he has to build a fence, so...
He's going to build the fence.
Yeah. He was probably busy doing that.
That's
True.
what I was thinking.
The goats are doing better eating on their own, and this fence is still haunting over me, but hopefully come another month and a half, this fence will be done. I haven't started it yet. I'm still in the planning phase, but...
Well, how are you going to say it's going to be done in a month and a half?
Anyone that wants to come help. You guys want to come help? I mean, just let me know.
I'm gonna defer to Braedon on that one.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm busy that weekend.
You
gotta walk your pet fish.
That's not.
Yeah, I do. Yep, just got it.
Caught it. Well, we hope you guys are enjoying this. Next Saturday, opening day trout season, and this Sunday will mark exactly 6 days until opening day, and they're calling for at least an inch of snow.
Never fails.
Yep.
Does it seem like it's either raining? We're here in Eastern Ohio. I fish in Western PA for trout, and it never fails. It's either windy, raining, or just extremely cold. You guys have that too in your area?
Yeah, I feel like it's always raining.
Yeah, I mean, it's every time I'm looking, I'm trying to do stuff outside, and it's like, oh, sweet. Nice sunny day, dry things out, get some stuff done, half done, and then all of a sudden rain.
I was actually going to go out and shoot my bow today, like right after work. I was like all excited. I was like, okay, I'm going to go out again. I've been doing it every day, and I was going to go out, well, except for the rain. I've been trying to take then in between days off to stay with it, just to give my arm a break. And it rained pretty good yesterday. We had some nasty storms down to our south. And so I was going to go out today, and it just got bitter cold because, I got to get back into the flow of things without gloves before I put gloves on. And it was like 42 degrees, and I'm like, yeah, no.
No.
And it's super muddy. I mean, I have boots and stuff, but I was just kind of like, no, I'm not going to trample everything down. It just wasn't worth it, so...
Tomorrow's another day.
That's it. We can do some indoor ranging and stuff. So, well, tonight, people are probably wondering, like, well, what, with fishing season right around the corner, what are you guys talking about hunting for? Well, because during hunting season, we're going to be hunting. We're not going to be talking about it. Well, maybe we will afterwards. But one of the new, I'm going to call it, Braedon's probably going to shoot me for this, but one of the new fads, I'm going to call it, is saddle hunting. And maybe that's a bad word to say. Maybe it's not really a fad because I received a saddle. I have a saddle, and I'm slowly buying some parts for it. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. But I guess my first impression is it's going to replace a climber, which I hate absolutely taking a climber because you get all stinky and sweaty and we climb a tree. But Jake, you also have never used a saddle, right?
Nope. Maybe you guys can change my mind, but I'm sticking to my ladder stance. I just don't see the fun of being suspended by a piece of cloth about 15 feet up in the air.
15? We go 20, man. We going 20.
You guys got your work cut out tonight.
Well, wait a second. No, I'm still on the fence yet. I haven't been more than 2 feet off the ground. My buddy Mark, he swears by. No, listen, he swears by saddle hunting. Like, that's what he does. He goes down to swamps, he goes down, and he saddle hunts. He's like, that's the only way to do it. So, Braedon, you are also one of those people that is like, saddle is the way to go.
Yep, yeah, I've been saddle hunting for probably 3-4 years now, pretty consistently. I mean, I don't even know where my climber is, to be honest, since I started saddle hunting. But I mean, to me, it's a game changer. You can get in deeper. You're obviously more lightweight, more compact, and basically, when you see a tree in the woods, you're going to get in it just because you can get in now.
So we have James Yalman in the chat room. He says hunting is 365 days a year. If you're not hunting, you're getting ready for hunting. I agree with that. I do agree with that.
I agree too.
I guess I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to see if this is something I'm going to like, and you might see us and hear us talk about Trophy Line a lot tonight, and that's mainly because they were gracious, at least on my part, to send me a saddle to give it a try. They're trying to make me a believer. Braedon's been after me for a while. I always like to throw that out there as a disclaimer. But they also said to be honest. That was one thing. Yep. Sean, I guess the owner, he was just Sean. Like, look, man, if you hate it, just say you hate it. It's all good. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's not for everyone, but you don't know till you try, right?
Well, exactly. And so that's kind of where, Jake, I'm kind of with you on at this point. Like, I guess let's get into a little bit, and Braedon, maybe you can show your rig a little bit and show what you have, because Braedon's going to do a lot of show and tell since I'm producing here. And show us what you got. Show us how you do it. And then we can kind of give some insights as to what my impressions and thinking is, with some experience I had with Mark when he was over last week, and we can kind of go from there.
Right. So, for starters, the main key would be your saddle. So, this is the Trophy Line Covert Light. We also make a Covert Pro, which it would be a solid material. The Covert Light comes in a breathable mesh, good for earlier seasons, more breathable. And so you got 2 rows of molly straps. As you can see here, I have a couple straps that I use to lock in my sticks whenever I'm climbing.
Now, did you add those, or did they come with the saddle? I think that's something.
Yeah, so I had to buy those separate.
Okay.
But the molly attachments come sewn onto the saddle. So,
because that was one of the questions I was going to ask you is, and I'm sure Jake was wondering that, like, how do you attach your sticks as you're climbing, right?
Yeah, so you could do it this way. There's tons of other ways. Everyone, if you get on a Facebook forum on saddle hunting, there's literally a million different ways to hook your sticks up your platforms and whatnot. So, but it comes with this dump pouch here. It also comes with this dump pouch here. This round dump pouch, I put my lineman's belt in it. And then my square pouch, that's where I have my tether rope. But right here's your lineman's. I'm not going to take it out because it's like 10 foot of cord. But
yeah, that's fine.
You have your carabiner here on your loop, and whenever you get ready to climb, you basically pull it out, throw it around the tree, hook it to your other hook over here, as you can see right here. And then it has a Prusik knot. And then you slide your rope through the Prusik, tighten the Prusik down to whatever gauge you want off the tree, and then you can begin climbing that way. But for me, I run everything Trophy Line. I'm a big Trophy Line guy. So, like I said, I use the Covert Light. That's my main saddle. I have the Pro too, but I'll use that for colder late season hunts just because it helps keep the warmth in, and it comes in a pretty cool bottomland camo pattern. But here's my sticks I run. They're the Novix mini sticks. They're the single step.
So you only have 4 steps?
Yep.
And then that gets you 20 feet up?
The sticks alone will get me like 16, 17 foot.
Now, do you
between sticks?
Well, I was gonna say, do you have one of those loops that hooks to your bottom stick?
No, I don't use an aider. I'm probably gonna get an aider this year.
My buddy uses one of them, so you can get up an extra 2 feet out of it.
Yeah, they make like a 3 foot, a 5 foot aider.
Yeah,
they make all different lengths. But yeah, I mean I don't use one, but I don't have I mean, my legs aren't very short. They're not long, but they're not
Right.
short. So I put my sticks, I separate them really far to get that extra foot. But yeah, these are the Novix mini sticks. I like the single step. I
Eh,
mean, each stick's it's like a pound and a half. So you got 4 sticks, you're like 6, 7 pounds. So that's pretty light. And then I have multiple platforms, but this is the Trophy Line EDP. It weighs just over 3.5 pounds. It's like 13 and a half deep, 13 wide, so it fits pretty well. I mean, I wear a size 12, 13 boot. My boot fits good on there. But one thing I will say about Trophy Line, here's your Versa button. So whenever you put your Versa strap around, you cinch it tight, and then you cam the platform over. So once it cams over, you can see the cleats here.
Yeah.
Them puppies, they dig. I mean, they dig really well. So once it's in there, you can put all your side pressure right here, and it doesn't budge, not whatsoever. I mean, it's a rock solid platform, and that's mainly why I use them. I run the Mission platform by Trophy Line a good bit too, but that's if I plan on hanging all day, just because it's 18 inches deep. So it's bigger. It's a little bit heavier. Yep.
So what are the weight limits on these things? Like, they made for bigger people, or is it kind of?
Oh yeah, yeah. You can get 250, 300 pounders on there all day.
Huh.
I mean, they're
It
rated
just seems like
for
a
more.
lot. Yeah, it just seems like it's not a lot of material to. You're kind of like putting your life on that strap there.
Oh yeah, but in the same aspect, you're doing the same thing with the climber. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're using a Summit, you're depending on your cables not breaking. But yeah, I mean, it's not for everyone, but it's one of them. If you try it, I think you would like it.
I think that's
But like I said, it's not for everyone.
I have to say, Jake, that was one thing that like I said, my buddy Mark, he's been talking to me about it, and when I got the saddle and I hadn't gone up, and he says, you know what, last week he's like, you're going up in the tree. and we didn't go really high because it was going to start raining afterwards anyway, so we didn't put like the
Right.
climbing sticks, but it was something we put up high enough that we could just kind of kick off the tree and put our feet against the tree, and I could see where it would be comfortable. Now, one of the issues that I thought could be a problem, and you guys in the chat room, if you're watching this live, put your thoughts in there about saddle hunting. Is it a fad? Is it something that you're really looking into? Is it something that you're here watching because you want to know more about it, which is always a good thing? But I had asked Braedon, I said, so what about pulling your bow back? You've got these cables coming up the side of you here. Now you got to try to pull your bow back through these cables. What's the challenge behind that? Is it all just depending on how you're hanging from the tree?
So, whenever I first started, I was skeptical on that too. That was my biggest fear. You know what I mean? You're drawing back and your string hits your bridge. But as far I haven't found an issue yet in all the different ways of shooting, and I go out in the yard and I practice every situation possible, just so I'm familiar with it if the opportunity comes. But so you got your bridge will come up here. Say you said you like to hold your bridge higher because you're taller.
Yes.
Which that's cool. So your bridge would be here, and then you naturally have your tether coming down, and it basically makes a V right here. So whenever you're drawing, you're here, but you also got to realize how tight the V on your string is whenever you're full draw. So at that point, your bridge basically comes here, so you're only getting the last couple inches of your string whenever you're drawing. You know what I mean? Over the bridge.
Yeah.
So I haven't found any issues with that at all.
So I guess, what about the draw cycle with it? I mean, Jake, I'm kind of looking at it like you see somebody hanging. I'm going to see if I can pull up another picture of somebody hanging. But that's just my fear. I even sometimes when I'm in the tree, I wear my safety harness, and I wear one that's from Advanced safety systems, and I have the line that goes
The
right to the
lifeline.
ground. Yeah, and I click to it and I climb the tree. That sometimes can get in the way when I'm drawing back if I'm leaning out too far, and I'm just kind of like, that's what worries me with it.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I have a 31-inch draw, and trying to climb up in a tree and have my safety harness on and try drawing generals difficult, and now trying to be attached to things on the side of me and trying to hang from a cloth or even on a seat. I mean, it's a small platform. There's really no room
So
to move and to step out and lean and
if
stuff.
I send you a video, Steven, can you pull it up on your
Yeah,
computer?
yeah, yeah. If you
real
pull,
quick?
if you send it to me in Messenger here, I'll pull it up on
Yep.
the screen
Right,
here
yeah.
so we can show it. Because this
Yeah,
is,
let me find it here quick.
I mean, guys in the chat room, listen, we're not poo-pooing saddle hunting. Like I said, once I put it on, it's actually very comfortable, and I will state for the record, I'm more for it now than I was before I got up in the tree last week. But I also had some of the concerns that Jake had, and you know, one of the other things, you got to wear knee pads, otherwise it's going to kill your knees against the tree. And I know, Braedon, you said you wear the knee pads as well, right?
Yeah, yep.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, you can wear knee pads, or you can just get like a old lone wolf cushiony seat. You know what I mean? And then
And
just strap it around the tree. They all do the same thing. But
yeah,
one thing I
it's
will
what you
say
want.
about our saddle, you mentioned how comfortable you thought it was your first time trying it on,
Yeah,
and the big difference between Trophy Line and the competitors. So we make our saddles a little bit longer and a little bit wider, and then it has the big, we're going to call them the bridge loops, where you hook your bridge to. So the longer loops in return suctions around your hips. That way it helps with the hip pinch, and then the longer saddle naturally makes it longer, rides up your back a little higher. So in return, that helps with your lower back support as well.
all right, I got this pulled up here, and there's no audio, so we're just going to play it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But this is what I want to see here. I want to see the draw cycle. So he's drawing outside of that. Okay, that tether.
Of my bridge, yeah.
So
So basically,
you have the bridge lower, so I might have to do that. Like before, I was raising it up
my
pretty high.
bridge right there, it's sitting just below chest height, to be honest, right there. And that was me drawing like straight on.
So are you attached to that seat at all, or literally just kind of?
You're just sitting in it like well, it's strapped in like a harness is.
Yeah, so you see that red rope there, Jake, with the carabiner? That's your tether. So it wraps around the tree, and then your carabiner attaches to that black rope, which would be your bridge. That's basically what holds you in there. And then
And then you have the whole saddle on itself is like around your waist there. Is that connected to you, or is that just?
Here, I'll zoom it in so you can kind of see here, just to.
I see around the legs there.
Yeah. So it straps in just like your safety harness would, and then and you'll have to correct me. I'm still learning the terminology here with it, but you have the bridge, right? This black cable's the bridge, right?
That's the bridge. Yep.
Okay.
It's an adjustable bridge, so you can get closer or further away from your body with that.
Right. And I like Braedon. I like to keep it further away, and then you have your tether, which he has this special. I don't even know what you call it.
Rope Man 1
from
it's just
Trophy
a
Line.
Mechanical ascender,
which
just makes everything a lot smoother and quicker.
It does make it a lot easier. But so that to me I like, and I like having that you have the pouches here, you have everything, within reach.
Yeah, and like I said, once you get up in the tree, the pouch that you see right there on my left side, that's where my tether goes. So once I'm tethered in, if I would have something in my pack, I can put it in there, like a rangefinder, grunt call, whatever you need. So
or extra ropes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sending another one. Disregard the 7-second one, and then it'll be the 21-second one that you want to.
In the meantime, I'll pull up one of the comments here in the chat room. Ben says, I haven't tried the saddle yet, he said, but see lots of experienced hunters using them more and more. And I know he's interested in trying this as well, to do the hunting. And it seems like you can get into places, a lot easier.
Oh yeah,
with some kind of device like this because of how it's done.
Well, yeah, I mean, one big thing for me, like, I go in the woods, and there's been multiple times where I've had my climber, and I'm in a newer area. Like I say, I'm out of state hunting Missouri or something where I don't have time to scout. And I find this area where I see some trails, I see good sign, and I'm looking around for a tree to climb with my climber. And you know how it is with a climber.
Yep.
If there's branches and that, you can't get in it. So
Yep.
with a saddle, you have your sticks. Basically, you can put your sticks in any tree possible. If you want to get in a tree that has branches and bushes all grown around you to help seclude you a little bit more, go ahead.
All right, so this is the third video that you sent. That's the correct one, right?
Yep.
Okay, so there's a little bit easier. You're really tight against the tree on this one.
Yep.
Where you're not like leaning way back. What about back fatigue? Some of us, like myself, who have back problems, leaning back like that all the time. Is that something that's...
So they make it's called a back band.
Okay.
A back band. It'll go like right here under your armpits, and it's a padded cushion basically that goes here and it straps around, and it'll attach into your carabiner.
Okay.
So it also helps with your upper back support too.
So now, on this one, you're not wearing knee pads, so are you just putting your knees up against like a pad on the tree, or is that your backpack that you're just resting them against?
Well, I had to use my backpack that day because
you forgot them.
Someone must have took my knee pads out of my pack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot them, and I put my knees up against the tree for about an hour and a half, and I was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna
so knee pads.
Get my backpack.
For anybody watching, knee pads is a must from you, the experienced saddle hunter. It's a must.
Yeah, I wear them every time. Well, unless I forget them, but I wear them every time. I love my knee pads. It definitely helps a lot.
Because I think that's something, when you get into this, people, they don't want to incur the extra expense. I mean, there is an expense that comes with this. It's not cheap.
It's expensive to get into it, but like anything else, it can be a one-time buy.
Yeah, and so you don't have to get everything trophy lined. I mean, Braedon does ambassador work for Trophy Line, and I use it because that's what was introduced to me. But I know there's some other companies out there. In fact, today even I'm going to pull it up here. I actually I ordered, because a buddy of mine was saying that these were pretty good sticks, and I know Braedon, you had some experience with these sticks. Yep. I actually ordered Muddy's sticks, the pro climbing sticks. Now, one thing we did find out, which I didn't know at the time, was that these sticks are probably like 2 or 3 pounds heavier, total weight, heavier than the ones from Trophy Line. But I just like how easy these seem to cinch up. You wrap it around the tree, you check where it's supposed to be, and just cinch it up, and it gets cinched in between those.
Yep.
I guess they're like some kind of like a gear mechanism or nuts, and then
it's like a cleat. Yeah.
But we'll show clips of this once they arrive. I'll do a quick little video of how they go, and we'll show them on here in case that's something that you want to look at. But again,
like I said, those Muddy sticks, it's a super solid stick. I ran a couple pairs of them for years.
But you're also talking about $240.
Oh yeah, they're not cheap, but those are a solid stick. I will say that. The only reason I switched is just to get a little bit lighter.
Yeah,
totally. I have two sets of 3 of the Hawk Helium, the 36 inches, down in my garage. And I ran those for a while. I liked them, but they were just a little bit too long for whenever I'm packing in.
Yeah. I know my mother-in-law, I have like, Jake, I don't know if you do this with your hang-on stands or anything like that, but I have the really long sticks that combine to be like 15 or 20 feet. You strap it to the tree. I have one of those that I'm probably going to use, and then all I have to do is carry the base for the saddle and just hang it up in the tree, and then be on the saddle in those trees.
Right.
Why take them out? Or if my brother-in-law gets them.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no point, in doing something like that. But we're going to continue this talk. But we're going to take a quick break and thank some of the guys that helped make this possible. Some of our sponsors. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
Apex Gear, known for their performance-driven archery sights and accessories, is pleased to introduce the new Covert Series archery sight. VersaPin technology allows shooters to change the pin color and pin size on demand in an instant. The compact and lightweight sight is equipped with stainless steel hardware, micro-adjustable windage and elevation, an ultra-smooth, easy one-hand adjustment knob for quick yardage changes, and a micro-push button light. The new Covert Series from Apex Gear.
Confidence is key, and when bow hunting, confidence can be defined by one word: accuracy. Introducing the Thorn Expandable Broadhead. Its patented hidden blade technology guarantees field point accuracy, and the patented rip tip grabs at hide and flesh, ensuring deployment and beginning the process of devastation. Its stainless steel blades render up to a massive 2.2-inch cut. For confidence and accuracy, there is only one choice: Thorn Broadheads, the world's most accurate broadhead.
And we're back, and again, we want to thank the sponsors and all the folks that help make everything that we do here possible. And it's always a great time to use this equipment. This isn't stuff that we just decided that, oh, you know, we're gonna get sponsored because you know, we want to get it. We were using this stuff way before we were sponsored, which was nice.
Right.
So we could honestly sit here and say, like, it was you know, awesome that they came on board with it. So if you haven't checked it out, you know, Thorn Broadheads, we love it. Apex Gear, all good companies and such. So, Braedon, during the break, I kind of said to you about, you know, there's some other types of gear. If you're thinking about saddle hunting, there's some other types of gear that you really should look into. And what are some of those things that folks should look into?
So you can backpacks are a big thing. I mean, everyone wants, for saddle hunting, you have your platform, your sticks, your saddle. If you film, your camera gear, extra clothes, drinks, snacks, a whole bunch of stuff. So a pack is a big thing for saddle hunters, especially a lot of people saddle hunt because they want to go deeper into the woods, which saddle hunting in turn helps you get deeper just because it's lighter weight. So a pack's a huge thing. And for me, I mainly run the Trophy Line case pack, which it's like 2,000 cubic inches. But this pack right here I have would be the Trophy Line Plateau pack.
Okay, so is that the stand doesn't dangle behind you, right? That'll just kind of...
Yeah, so once I get it on my shoulder, I have it adjusted for me. There's a whole bunch of adjustment strap. So it'll basically sit.
And then you just carry your bow in by hand.
Yeah, yep. So it'll sit like that. But one thing cool about this, you can see here on the shoulder straps, they have their own, it has its own design buckles for your platform to let it hang there.
Okay.
Which that's a pretty cool thing. And then the same with your sticks. There's their own design spots for your sticks. You can either put them on top of the pouch or on the bottom. I normally run them on the top, and then you can run like a camera arm on the bottom or extra jacket or whatever I need that day. But
yeah,
the Plateau pack, I mean, it's not as bulky as the case pack, but it's another, I mean, I love it.
So Jake, what he's saying is it's going to cost us even more money now.
More money. I have a running total here right now, and I'm just like, okay, so $250 for sticks, probably $300 for this, and
yeah,
we're going to be about $800 into all this.
That's why you buy a little at a time.
Good excuse to sell the goats.
Yeah, I getting that past my wife.
Well, no, I was just going to say, he's probably sitting there. He's probably going, now, how do I explain this to my wife? What am I going to say? Now, fortunately, I got the saddle. And the saddle that I got was the lightweight one, which was
the Covert Light,
which I really liked. Yep. And I'm glad you said for me to get that one because
right. Yeah,
I think
that saddle's all around.
The heavier one, I think
you just late season.
Yeah, you're just gonna sweat in that heavy one, right?
Yeah, like I said, it's made for later season, so it's gonna help keep the warmth. But yeah, I mainly run the Covert Light all year long, unless I'm in a really cold environment that day or whatnot.
So for in Jake's terminology, that's the one that looks like it's a basketball jersey material. It's got even more holes in it, Jake. It looks even more like a piece of fabric.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So my safety concerns are going to be going up even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see through it.
You can see through it. You get so that camo just blends right in with it. You know. Well, what we're going to eventually get on one of the guys from Trophy Line to talk about this.
Yep.
And look, there's other companies too. If you want us to talk to them and check them out too, Trophy Line's just been the most receptive that we've had. And of course, with Braedon being on the ambassador program right now, he knows awfully a lot about it. So it just made more sense to just talk about this. But you got to do your due diligence. And one thing Braedon said to me in the pre-show, which you guys didn't hear when we were kind of setting up, was I was looking at a platform that was $89 on Amazon. And Braedon, what did you tell me when I said, I was thinking about getting that, it's $89, whereas Trophy Line's $200, or some of the other companies $150, $200. What did you say to me?
Yeah, so basically I just told Steven that you don't want to skimp on your saddle, your platform, your ropes. Yeah, it might cost a little bit more money, but at the same time, I'd rather spend, say, Steven was looking at this $89 platform and say the Trophy Line's $200. I would rather spend the extra $120 and potentially save my life down the road just because it's built well and better. You know what I mean? So it's one of them things. Yeah, it might be cheaper, but in the long run, for your safety, it's a good choice to go in a not necessarily a more expensive route, but do your research and find which one's basically the best quality.
And that made a lot of sense. So Jake, we know that the material's good from Trophy Line.
Yes. So, I mean, that's always a plus. That I'm a bigger guy. I mean, I want to make sure that I'm up in a tree. All of a sudden, I'm not going to be down on the floor in a matter of seconds.
I've watched videos with bigger guys. They're in there, man.
So I will say, this was two years ago. I was in my saddle, and I had my Ropeman 1 connected, and I was testing it out that day. I wasn't even hunting, but
we are trying to get Jake on board with this, right? So if this is going down a road that is going to scare him,
I'm not starting to like how this is going down.
Yeah, Jake.
I was in a tree one day.
Plug your but I'm just saying, like, safety wise. So at the end of the tether rope, they come pre-knotted. So in case your Ropeman would fail or your Prusik would fail, and it would slide down, it stops on that knot. And that one day I was hanging in a tree, and it was all user error. Wasn't nothing to do with the company's fault, but it was 100% on me. I didn't make sure it was cinched tight enough, and I leaned back, and I just kept going back till the knot caught, and it swung me back into the tree. So I was like, well, that didn't hurt too bad. I mean, I just fell a couple foot and slid into the tree. But what I'm getting at is...
All right, well, I think that's my exit on this show.
No, what I'm getting at is you have your safety, and you can use a saddle as a safety harness. Yeah. So whenever you're in a safety harness, you know how they strap tight around your thighs, you know what I mean, and around your waist. So if you would fall out of that, right, the shock load pulling up on your inner thighs,
it ain't gonna feel good.
And 100%, like it could ultimately kill you from all, you know what I mean. I've heard of stuff like that happening. Just someone fell 20 foot in a safety harness, and that shock load, pretty much just destroyed their legs, and they bled out internally. 100%, I'll say, whenever I fell out of the saddle that day, and like I said, I only slid a couple foot, thankfully, for the knot at the end of the tether rope, but the only pain I had was me bumping into the tree with my arm.
I mean, Jake, I think anything. You're up in a tree. I mean, you could have your ladder stand fail with the attachment straps. I mean, I guess I'm not really worried about it failing as much as I'm worried about just being able to make an accurate shot based on, how you are. I mean, you're using a tree. Now, I know Braden's used that for cover many times, shooting a deer.
That's mainly, that's another big thing that I forgot to mention. So in the saddle, let me backtrack. So if you're in a climber, here's your tree and you're facing away from the tree, right? So you always set up thinking the deer are going to come towards you. You don't want them to ever come behind you in a climber because that's your blind spot. So in a saddle, you're set up and you're facing the tree. So however you want to set up, you're going to want to set up the way you think the deer are coming. So you're facing the tree and you want the deer to come towards you, just like a climber, but the tree serves as cover.
Right.
And if the deer are coming this way, you can work your way around the tree, your whole body, and you can continually use that tree to your advantage and use it for cover the whole way around until, say, a shot presents itself.
So I do like that. Jake, I mean, do you often use a climber at all?
Not really. It's mostly the ladder stands is what I use. The climber I had's an older one. It's like 40 pounds or something like that. And that just got too much to be lugging into the woods and setting it up. And half the time I'm like this on the tree anyways. And I'll stick to my ladder stands. And like you said, the disadvantage is that's where it's at. I can't really move it or do anything else because they're not a one-man. I don't have the one-man operation ones that cinch to the back of the tree or whatever to go up it. So,
but I do
definitely like that idea of the ability to go around the tree and go for cover and everything.
Well, and I like the saddle idea too, in the sense of, like at my mother-in-law's, like I've already been up in a tree and I've seen like big bucks down in a swampy area that she has down there, which is like 200 yards away. You're not going to get a shot from where you're at, but you're also not going to get a tree stand in there because there's a lot of low-hanging brush that you have to like kind of climb under. You'd really need a climber to get down in there. But with a saddle, you're not. Again, that was something I learned from my buddy Mark. Was it don't matter what kind of tree. It could be a crooked tree. It could be one that's leaning. Where a saddle, you got to kind of be in a pretty much a straight tree, just like any other tree stand. Where the saddle, you can actually put your pegs on one side and just kind of gradually make it like a circular staircase if you have to, going up the tree. And I think Mark, my buddy, was even saying like he sometimes would stand on he would set the stands or the sticks on one side of the tree, and then he'd have the saddle stand on the other, so that way he could step over to that if he had to. Is that something similar that you do?
Oh yeah, like I said, it all depends on the opportunity. But yeah, there's been multiple times where I find a tree that's a Y and it has branches. I'll put my platform here, and then there's a branch here, and I can use that branch as another stepping device, basically another platform if I need to swing one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to sell you on it, Jake, but I mean, what are you thinking right now? I mean, you're hearing all this, and I'm still in the middle yet. Now, mind you, I have not gone up in a tree 15, 20 feet with this thing yet. I've strapped it on. It is comfortable. It's more comfortable than wearing a safety harness. So even the advanced safety system ones, they're really comfortable. Mm-hmm. They're not like your cheap ones that you get. Yep. This is more comfortable.
So go ahead, Jake. You're good. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I know how we said the sticks and everything else costs money, and it's like one of those things I know you have to buy to test it, but I would hate to spend all that money on something to realize, it's not for me, or, I mean, trying to climb up in a tree and like, well, how fast can you get up in a tree though? So, I mean, that's another thing. It's like, is this a 20-minute, half-hour setup, or like, because when I walk to the woods in the morning, I just go right up the ladder stand and sit down and I'm done. So
depending on what situation I get myself in, 8 minutes tops.
Wow.
That's from hanging the sticks to all the way to the top, to strapped in, and
that's from taking it off my pack to hanging in the platform, or hanging in my saddle on the platform.
Well, because don't forget, Jake, most people are wearing their saddles into the woods.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. You save weight by wearing your saddle in. So my case pack, That's another thing I didn't mention earlier. So I'll have my mission platform, my sticks. I'll have my camera arm base, binoculars, some water, extra jacket and whatnot. My pack weighs 15 pounds. So whereas if you were in a climber, so right off the bat, your climber, 20, 25 pounds right off the get-go. And then I know everyone's just about the same. You always have a pack that you put in your climber. So you're looking another 10 pounds in your pack. So you're carrying 30 couple pounds through the woods.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that's interesting that I would love to see. Like, if someone else had it, I could try it before. Right. I bought it, but it's one of those things, like you said, maybe it's once you do it, it's different and you get used to it and more comfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, when you hear someone just hanging from a tree from a piece of cloth, you think, okay, do they need to be like checked in somewhere? Are they right in the head?
He's all about this piece of cloth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'd never seen a saddle, so I could be mistaken in my verbiage, but
right.
Maybe once I, like you say, see it, put it on, and like how Steve did, go up 2 feet and swing around and just make sure it like takes my weight. I think that's my biggest thing is going up in a tree and like literally just dropping my weight down and seeing how the saddle feels and how it actually holds me there and how I can move around and stuff. I mean,
so
I think that would be the selling point.
Let me pull this up. So this is the mesh one that I have. This is the Covert Light. So you can see like the mesh in there, but it's got 3 main bands of straps that are holding you in. I mean, that even more than the mesh. You're not like, the mesh is just kind of like extra, if you will. I mean, I know, but if you look at it, it's just like wearing a safety harness, but you're hanging from it.
Right.
Like there, you can see the pinch point on it here. Let me see. I mean, and you guys can check this out if you go to, again, we have Trophy Line pulled up because this is the saddle that I have and this is the saddle that Braedon has. One of them. I mean, the buckles and stuff, really, really high quality. You can see how
that's a big thing. Some of them already have the pre-sewn, like the old style Trophy Lines had the pre-sewn thigh strap, so you had to step through it. The Covert Light and the Covert Pro has the buckle system, so you can literally just swing it around you, easy on, easy off.
So we're going to continue talking about this, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back right after this. You guys are just joining us. We have been talking for the last hour, almost an hour. It'll be an hour soon, on saddle hunting. And so is this something that you've been thinking about doing? Is this something that you hesitated? Are you like Jake and you're hesitating because whether it's the expense or if it's safety? In Jake's case, is a little bit of everything with that. I mean, and that's a fair assumption. I've said the same thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So these are things we're hoping Braedon is answering for us here, but make sure if you want to check out some of the videos we've been doing lately, go to NoBoundariesOutdoors.com, go to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Every week we do a new podcast for you. Next week we're going to talk about fishing, maybe some of our best fishing lures that we use for trout. We actually had a viewer, he was like, hey, I'd like to know what you guys are using as your favorite trout lure. And we can talk about some of the bait we're going to use opening day. It'll be 2 days after. So if you're a fishing fan, you definitely want to tune in for that. That'll be next week. But let's get back to this the saddle hunting here, guys. I mean, I'm not scared in the sense that I'm going to fall out of the tree. I'll just state that up front. I'm not scared of that. I'm more nervous about making sure I can make a shot off of that. That's my main thing. And if I can do that, I think the comfort's there. Having access to everything, your backpack, your bags, everything. Like
Right.
this just seems easier to get up in than even a climber. I mean, I sweat so much getting up in a climber, especially on an early 70-degree day when you're out in the woods. I mean, I can't be the only one, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just sometimes walking into the woods itself, I'm working up a sweat on a nice day. So I think the breathable mesh itself would help kind of
Yeah.
air things out as well. I mean, I don't know. I'm going back and forth. It's not officially sold yet, but not as much as I was against it when we first started. So you guys are working on me.
So it has a 300-pound weight capacity. A medium large will go waist 28 to 37,
Yep.
and a large extra large will go 38 to 44. So if you're within those sizes, this should be no problem for you if you're thinking about it. And I'm sure all the saddles from all the companies are going to run similar to that. And
Yeah.
you got to find what works best. Again, we're mentioning this because we've been doing some stuff with them. Braedon swears by it, so I mean, obviously, if he's up in the tree swinging around like a monkey and he hasn't fallen and died yet, we're gonna take his word
He has
for
fallen,
it.
but not to the ground.
True,
Yep.
true.
Safety.
True.
The safety knot.
Is the safety knot.
You tested it out. You wanted to prove
I did.
that it was there
I
and it worked.
unintentionally
So.
tested it out. Yeah.
But you know what though, you made a valid point to tell people like, hey, don't make sure you cinch on that. Now, my buddy Mark was even telling me because when I was on the bridge, I pulled the bridge all the way to the knot, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
how the heck do you? And he's like, you got to cinch it
Yep.
before you put that carabiner on
Yeah,
it.
you want to make sure it's tight. That
Yep.
way it holds the load. But yeah, I mean, they're super safe. And another thing, we'll go back to Jake being on the edge on saddle hunting. Whenever I was working the Great American Outdoor Show in Harrisburg this year, we had a booth set up and we had trees set up and platforms, and you could test saddles out. You could get in the platforms. You could swing around. And I don't know how many people that stopped by, and they were basically in Jake's shoes. They weren't sure about it. And I was like, you know what? Let's get you in one. Come on back. I'll get you situated. I'll show you how to use the saddle. We'll lock you into this tree, and you tell me what you think after just hanging out in it for a minute, 2 minutes. And it blew me away by how many people locked into the tree. And once they were done, like obviously you talked them through how to maneuver everything and how everything worked. But at the end of it, they're like, yeah, I'm sold. And they walked over, bought a saddle kit. Some of them bought the whole kit and caboodle, bought the saddle, the platform, the sticks, the pack. They bought the whole works just from being in it for 30 seconds to a minute. So, I mean, I get where Jake's coming from. And I think a big deal breaker for him would be just trying one out.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, if I made it to the Great American Outdoor Show this year, I mean, I'm sure I would have stopped by and tested it out. But it's one of those things you won't know until you do it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I had a question. How did you get into it though? Did you just think, let me just try this one day, or did you have a buddy that got you into it?
So, yeah, my one buddy from back home, he's a diehard saddle hunter as well. But he was on Trophy Line, but it wasn't, I always saw him posting in it. But me being me, I always want to try new stuff. So, like, whenever new gear comes out, I'm like, man, that looks pretty cool. I'm going to try it.
Wait.
Impulse buy.
Hashtag impulse buy.
Yep. Yeah, I'm bad at that. But no, it was just one of those, it intrigued me for months and months and months. And I did my research. Like I said, that's the reason I went with Trophy Line. I researched a lot of the saddle companies, and they look like they fit the best for what I was looking for. And one day I was like, you know what? I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm going to do it. And if I do this, I'm going all in. So I went out, and at the time, Trophy Line didn't make a platform. So I bought the saddle from them. They didn't have the sticks at the time, so I bought the saddle from Trophy Line, the ropes, the knee pads, and then I went out on a limb because he was making platforms, and I did reach out to my buddy and ask him what a good platform was, and he said Matt from Out on a Limb makes a stellar platform, which that's who I bought my camera arm from. That was in last week's episode. So I ran that platform for a little while and had Hawk helium sticks. Like I said, liked them, but I just ran into they were just a little too long for packing in. You know what I mean? Other than that, they work great. And then whenever Trophy Line came out with their platforms, their packs, their sticks, I was like, you know what? I'm going all in. I went all in, started using them, and then I got on board with Trophy Line and haven't looked back since.
Impulse buy.
Yeah, so it honestly, it did start out as an impulse buy. I mean, like I said, I was intrigued by it. And I was like,
But
I
you know
woke
what?
up one day and I was like, I'm doing it.
I can't make fun of you for that because I did that with Scent Crusher.
Right.
I needed a hunting closet. I did at the old house. My wife kept yelling at me because I kept throwing, and if she was here, she'd agree with it. She would tell the story. I used to throw my hunting clothes. We had a ping pong table that we inherited from the previous owner that I turned into a workbench because we didn't play ping pong and it was just too clunky. And my kids were little, so I just threw all my hunting clothes all over this workbench. Worked on my guns, worked on my fishing pole, everything. And I told her, I was like, I'm going to buy this scent crusher. I'll have it forever. You know, I'll be able to put in. Plus, it deodorizes your clothes. And she's thinking, I don't have to wash his stinky hunting clothes.
Right.
That sounds like a plan. So I went and got it, and that's what sold me on Scent Crusher, and been using it ever since. So seeing is believing. So I think in Jake's case,
Right.
Jake,
I mean, it
might have to
I
do
think
it.
it'd be a big. It's obviously a big factor. No one wants to just go out and buy, say, $1,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, it's about $800. Well, I know
Yeah,
they're sold out, but
That's what.
that's the
what I was
whole
going to
kit
look at.
right
To
there.
see.
Yep.
and
So,
It-
Braedon, your
it should be coming
recommendation
back.
for someone just starting out, what would you recommend? Would you recommend one of these bundles? Would you recommend a saddle and sticks? Like, what would you say just the bare minimum to go out that someone want to try it out and do? What would you recommend?
So like I said earlier, it's one of them you can go cheaper, but at the same time, better quality. So you're going to pay a little more just for safety perspective. So that's why I went Trophy Line. I knew they had good ratings. I knew their stuff was built well. So I didn't mind spending a little extra money. But as far as just starting out, you need a saddle, a platform, and sticks. And Trophy Line right now, they're running one of the best deals on the market right now for the saddle, the platform, and the sticks. So it's one of them, if you do want to get into it and you don't want to shop around and say you're sold on the Trophy Line saddle, you're not going to be disappointed with their platform and their sticks.
Okay.
yeah,
I'll have to look at it and kind of see what they got going on for newbies and see. I'm sure there's testimonies out there.
Oh, yeah.
watch
Yeah,
YouTube
The
videos.
new guy doing this, and YouTube
Watch-
videos of.
Watch YouTube videos. That's what I've been
Yep.
doing for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just do like I did. Do your research. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
Mhm.
even if you do decide to do it, just keep doing your research on how. Like I told everyone whenever I was running the show, everyone's different as far as setting their saddle stuff up. Some people like their tether. Whenever it's wrapped around the tree, they like their tether height a little bit higher. I prefer mine right around my nose. That's the perfect angle for me. Steven might like it at the top of his forehead. You know what I mean? You might like it down at your chest. Everyone's different. So it's all personal preference. So you got to go out and practice till you find the sweet spot that fits you the best.
Mhm.
And that's the same with like your rope bridge length, your tether length, everything, your angle of your platform. So
And I have to say, for not being part of their team on anything, the owner was very receptive. Like when I got my saddle, he contacted me a little bit afterwards. He's like, "What did you think?" And I'm like, "Well, I haven't tried it yet. We're in the middle of the season. I'll probably work on it next summer and stuff." And he was cool, But I said one of the things that I didn't like was that he was using traditional zippers on the pack, which are noisy, right? Because they swing and they tap. And
they upgraded them.
He changed them. He said, it's funny you should say that, because he said, and I can't complain because I got a freebie and I wouldn't complain. Right. But when you're asking somebody to review it, I mean, that's what you're gonna give them, everything. And I said, that's good to know. They went to like the string with the plastic on it, and to fix it. He's like, well, I can send you another one we can swap. I'm like, nah, it's not a big deal. I just wrapped electrical tape around the zippers so that if they knock together, you don't hear it. Which, again, it's minor, but when you're deer hunting,
that little bit of
stealth
can make a difference.
Yeah, you want to. I mean, we make more noise getting into the stand, so it's not a big deal. But these are things that when you're reviewing a product, these are things that jump out at you, and you want to make note of it because it helps. Every little bit helps. There's people out there that swear by being absolutely dead silent in a stand, and whether it's in their head or not. I mean, I've made a lot of noise and still killed deer. So
no, yeah, but I will say, going back on your review back to Sean. Sean's a top-notch guy. I mean, like you said, he listens to the customers. Like, he's all the time asking our team what we think about this and what we think about that. And they go out and they ask customers, what should we do better? So they listen, you know what I mean? It's not all, sure, they're designing the product, but the customers and the employees and the brand members, they're all working together to try to make the best possible fit for a saddle, the platforms, the sticks. So I will say that's one thing Trophyline does tremendously, and their customer service is next to none. I mean, you email them, they're right back to you.
So we're going to have to wrap things up here in just a few moments here. But if you're interested, and again, we have been talking a lot about Trophyline, you can check them out at trophyline.com, and you can find out they've got stands, backpacks. Now, some of the bundles that they have, they are sold out right now. Last week, they were not sold out. So more and more people are jumping on the wagon here, so to speak, to run saddles and whatnot. But you can check them out on social media and look at all this stuff that they have. And like I said, there's other companies out there. Braedon said you know the same thing. Do your research.
Do your homework. Yep.
Look at what's going to work best, not only for you but for your budget. On what. But take into consideration one of the things that Braedon did say, and that is your safety. What's your safety worth? And that makes a lot of sense. Something I never took into consideration.
Even while I was at the show, there was a guy, he came and he tested it out just for using it as a safety harness purpose. You know what I mean? Wow. That's what he bought the saddle, just for a safety harness purpose. He said he didn't like, and like I said earlier about if you would fall out, the shock load on your legs.
Yeah.
That's what he said he didn't like. And he did that, and he fell in love with it. And then he bought the saddle just for a safety harness purpose. He's like, I'm still going to hunt out of my ladder stand, my lock on, but I'm going to use that as a safety harness. So, I mean, that was a first for me. You know what I mean? Most people that are buying saddles, they're going to saddle hunt out of it. And he bought it just for a safety harness. So I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it speaks for itself on whenever people are doing something like that, they're buying it as a harness. They see how safe it is. So
yeah, it's a really awesome option. So look forward to that. You guys can check that out. Also, we're going to wrap things up here. We're going to say thanks to Jake Oxenford. You can follow him on Instagram.com/OxenChevy. You can see all the cool things he posts out on the interwebs. And also, you can check out Braedon on Instagram, Instagram.com/Braedon07. And then also on TikTok, I'll let him say his name on there because I never get it right.
Bray_Bray077.
And he posts.
And I will say, for everyone that's getting into saddle hunting, if you guys are interested in trying out Trophyline stuff, I can give you guys a 10% off code for your first order, which will be good for your first complete order. So if you'd be interested in buying a saddle, sticks, whatever you prefer, My code would be Braedon010, so it'd be BRAEDON 010. And like I said, that'll give you 10% off your complete first order.
Look at this guy. He was right. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
writing down that code.
Yeah, I was like, make a mental note because I've been looking. I have on my screen right now the mission. I actually signed up. Says email me when available. The mission hang with the best
Yep.
bundle. So I'm looking into it. It's not. I'm not complete no anymore. So
And
It's
another
definitely,
cool thing Trophyline has, if you sign up for the Trailblazers program, it's called,
Yeah.
like once you buy on there, you get so many points, and once you reach so many points, like you can get 25 off, or you get free shipping, or $50 off your next purchase, or stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they have like many ways to earn or something like that.
Yep.
So, and if you guys want No Boundaries Outdoors on TikTok, you can follow that. I've been taking some of the videos that we've been putting into the show. Now, this week we didn't really have any because Braedon was doing a live demonstration. But what I've been doing is cutting them into different parts. If you missed it when we went over the cameras, different things like that, and I've been putting them up there. So if you just want to see that, again, the other thing is you can check out the website. Head over to NoBoundariesOutdoors.com. We always post some different videos here. All the shows are also posted on here, so it's your like one-stop shop. The podcast, you can subscribe audio only if you prefer to do that when you're driving to work. If you want to just listen to the show, you missed it on Thursday night because it's on an inopportune time. You can just come over here right under the outdoor team, and there's the podcast. You can just click on that, and it'll take you to a page. And that whether you have an iOS device, you can just click on that, it'll also work for Google Play. But you can do all that stuff and listen to the show if you just want audio only. Some people like to have the visuals. And also, I believe starting next week, we are going to be live on an internet radio station as well at this time slot too. So we'll have not only this, but we'll also have the audio. So if you have to get up and leave during the middle of the show, you can still listen to it. And if you want to go back and see any of the visuals, you can see that after the show. And I didn't even get a chance to tell the guys that we would be on that internet radio station. By the way, guys, we're going to be on an internet radio station next week. Just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah, thanks
Sorry.
for the heads up.
You're welcome. Everything's everything's moving fast. So also the Roku app. You can download and watch this on your Roku. No Boundaries Outdoors. Look it up in the Roku App Store. You can watch it live. None of the previous video shows are available on it. Just the live, even though it has a placeholder. The placeholder's there for when I finally get around to making the video available for the podcast. Right now, we're just doing audio because we're trying to build up the YouTube subscribers, so we want to keep the video there so people subscribe. So,
Yep. Get on over, hit that like button.
yes, hit that like button on our Facebook page. No Boundaries Outdoors everywhere, and give these guys a like. Appreciate it. Guys, we'll see you next week to talk some fishing. See ya.